Hi everyone, I am really excited to show you this new book that I have in my hands right now. Johanna Basford's new Wonderful Wildflowers. Now this is a 25cm by 25cm square book, so one of the larger size books that she does. So let's get stuck in really quickly. Now the design is rather like her last few books where we don't have a dust cover or a French flap, it's just a cover and it goes straight in. I find that makes it much easier for colouring. We have this design on the inside of the cover. Now this isn't glossy, so it is possible to colour this in and the outside of the cover, which some people do. So we have a very detailed wallpaper pattern, which I think is in the book somewhere else as well, but I can't quite remember. I've only watched Johanna's flip through about 4 times, so so as I say, this is the UK edition. I don't think there are very many differences between it and the US edition, which is the one that Johanna did for us. Apart from the spelling of the word colouring. There's also no penguin hidden on the front cover, which is very sad. So our first main picture is this title page, and we have quite a few different florals and little butterflies and bees all around the edge, and some different flowers here as well. I'm wondering if these are the part of the quest, whether those are the ones, I don't know. Anyway, now on our copyright page we have a lovely heart with 3 butterflies around it. I wonder if that's Johanna, Evie and Mia. Anyway, so we have this book belongs to pages. This one's quite simple. Sometimes they have quite a lot of detail in, but this one is rather cute and simple. And then we have the introduction and the colouring tips. I don't think I'm going to read these out because there's a lot of information there. I think you probably just want to see inside the book and hear my views on it. The paper is the same as her previous books. There's not much to say on that really, apart from I really like it, and it works very well with the harder pencils that I tend to use. So our first sort of main design is this curled design. It looks almost like a snail shell to me. I don't know about you guys. And we've got a selection of different florals all the way around. Lots of different cute designs. They're fairly small but not teeny weeny. And then on this page we have another selection of different florals, but here we have some mushrooms, which is a nice little snail. So it's not just flowers on this page, we have more mushrooms on this one. These look like daffodils. Yeah, so a couple with mushrooms, so a little bit different to just flowers all the time. I know some people find the whole idea of flowers a little bit daunting, having so many. This reminds me of the circle in Magical Worlds, which has the little fox in the middle, but obviously there's no fox on this one, but we've just got lots of really pretty round sort of tightly packed petal flowers on that one. And here we have a bunny. Now this one is interesting. It's interested me right from the beginning of seeing this in development, because Johanna shared it with us quite early on, that we actually have the fur drawn on and there's heavier fur in the places where there would be shadows. So it gives us a little bit of help, which I think is interesting because it's not something that I've seen Johanna do before. So that's interesting, I feel. And we have the florals around it and in front on it as well. It's a lot of space here where you can make a whole scene. We've got the ground drawn in, but nothing here for the sky. So yeah, if you like doing backgrounds, then there's a lot of scope with that one. This one is so very simplistic, and I think it's really interesting for that, in that what are you going to do with it? Are you just going to colour it? Are you going to put a background in? Are you going to draw something in the middle? Or are you just going to leave it just as it is? Now we have a butterfly. I'm thinking maybe a moth. A nice little one with a really lovely floral part here, I think. So we've got leaves here, flower here. It's very pretty. Ah, I love this page, but we'll look at this one first. So this is a sort of circle design. I think Johanna tries to avoid the word mandala because she feels it has a sort of cultural significance sometimes, whereas hers are just doodly flowers. And we've got, I like this sort of vine detail in the middle though. That's really pretty. It's really interesting. And then this one, again, very simplistic. We have a bit of shading on the leaves to give us some idea of how to colour them as well. But it's a repeating design on that one. And we've got a border around the edge. It does go into the spine a little bit there. Now these have, I've been interested in these ever since I first saw a quick thumb through the book. They caught my eye because they're something I've never seen before. I've never seen Johanna draw something like this before. Now obviously they're flowers, but to me they could almost look like snowflakes as well because of the sort of spikiness of the petals. And so that has made me think, is this going to be a Christmassy page for me to do, you know, in December? Maybe not. We'll see, won't we? So this one, we have some long stemmed flowers growing out of a little selection of smaller flowers, which is an interesting concept, but also all the little butterflies above as well. Now this one, again, a sort of repeating design. It's a square. It starts off circular, turns into a square. I like this little border around the edge. We have these little fluffy flowers which are really pretty. I think this one is adorable, but I do like the sort of symmetrical designs. I know not everyone is so keen. So that one to me, and it looks reasonably simple. I mean, you can do a background, but maybe not, you know. Now this design, we have a sort of central feature which is symmetrical, but then we have different bits growing out of it, and none of these are symmetrical. So we've got all sorts of different elements, these sorts of heart petaled flowers, and then some sort of trumpety ones, and then these that look like little forget-me-nots or something. So we've got a bit of a mix there. It's rather cute. And so you could decide to do all these the same colour, all these the same colour, that sort of thing. These look quite like dandelions, but I think they're easier to colour, not white. It's my aversion to white flowers because I'm scared of colouring them. Now in this one, every floral is different. So you've just got a whole, it's quite a good practice page in a way, because you can do all sorts of different colours, you can do different greens, different cut, you know, it's a really interesting one, I think. Now this one is probably, at the moment, my favourite. I might say that again later. Because it's a little door and it's just so cute. So we've got a lovely door with flowers, and then we've got obviously the surrounding flowers. We've got toadstools, there's the door key, and then we've got all these lovely stars around to make it look really magical. I just think it's really, really cute, and I love colouring doors, so you know, it's won me over. But I like this one in the sense that it looks a bit more like a scene, which this one does too. I like a scene to colour. So we've got some ground, we've got some sky, so we've got a bit of something, you know, that looks a bit more than just a random flower, which there's nothing wrong with them, but I like a scene. So this round design, we've got toadstools as well as our florals, and some that are just leaves. So I think that's quite an interesting one. Again, I can't really, there's a few repeating ones in there, I think. No, the same types of flower, but not exactly drawn in the same way. Now here we have our cute, cute little fox asleep. It's a very, very sweet design. I always find them hard to colour. I just can never remember what colours to do them, but I'm sure that it will all work out. Now here, I think this in the middle looks like a foxglove, but these are a little bit different. We have some mushrooms as well, but we have this lovely sort of framed circle of leaves, which is rather nice, I think. Now on this one, this is much more of a, you know, you've got a lot, the page is packed, which we haven't had so much on the others. So we've got all these little ones which are like our background, and then larger blooms through as well. And this one much more simple. So we've got our spiral. We had a spiral earlier, but this one is really different, just in the way it's drawn. Doesn't look like a snail shell like the other one did, but the flowers get smaller as well as you get to the middle. So I think that one's rather cute. And again, not too, I think it could be done quite simply. You could pick one colour, say pink, do 3 or 4 different pinks, and you know, or something like that, and keep it really simple. Now here are a lot of flowers. I can see this being a really long series. If I do, I will do this for you. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. There's 49. Wow, that's a lot of videos. 49. Yeah, so that's quite a lot of flowers to colour. Now this page, some people really like these that just fill the whole page. I think this one's rather attractive. It is a repeating pattern, I've noticed. We've got this little group here and here, so that's something to, I usually like if there's a repeating pattern to do them the same colour. We have these really cute little tiny ones and tulipy type ones, slightly bigger ones. There's quite a lot of variety. Some leaves without flowers attached and things like that. So that's a really nice page. Now here we have circular designs. We have 9. I'm sure I'll do these as videos for you. I'm sure I do a lot, to be honest. I do like colouring a flower, so you know, I should be okay. Yes, so we have a lot there. All pretty much flowers and leaves, which is what you would expect. And here we have another page. This one reminds me of 30 Days of Flowers. Do you remember from World of Flowers? When we have 30 again here. So that's, you know, could be a project for somebody for a month to do one a day. You know, I did 30 Days of Flowers when I lost my colouring mojo. It was the only time I ever did, and I forced myself to colour one a day. By the time I got to day 3, I wanted to finish the page. I had to go off and colour other things, so it worked really well for me. I know it doesn't always work for everyone, but it could be a little starter for you. And these two also remind me of 2 that are in Secret Garden, where you've got 2 long stem florals opposite each other. They're very different florals. I mean, look at these little vines on the leaves here. It's really interesting. But they're very simple and pretty. And of course you can just colour it simply or add in some more background and things like that. You know, there's no rules. Now this one is interesting. I'm just going to try and hold it open a bit so you can see it, with all the little bottled specimens of flowers, scissors and a caterpillar and a magnifying glass and things like that. So we've got like it's a plant collector's room or something. So that's quite an interesting one. But over here we've got a much more simplistic page where we've just got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 stems with quite simple florals. That one's really interesting. Here we have a bear all covered in flowers. I think bears are easier to colour than foxes, because if you do a brown bear, they're all the same colour. Well, ish. It's a bit easier. But there he is in his splendour. Got a lot of leaves here. I like these thin leaves. They look pretty. Now here, this one looks very much more like wildflowers to me somehow. Like these look more like dog roses or something. They probably don't really. I don't know why. It just looks a bit more wild to me. It's rather cute. I think it's a repeating. No, it's not quite, because that isn't set. Yeah, there's the same flowers through, but they're not identical. And this one I think lots of people are going to really, really love. I certainly do. So we have our mushroom house with our little one next door, florals all round, things like that, with stars. It's just lovely little scene, and it's quite small. You don't have to do the outside, you know, it's quite little. This is very similar, I think, to the other circle design that we had earlier. This one. These are sort of daisy-like, and these are sort of daisy-like to me as well. This one seems bigger somehow. There's more going on though, but another circle. And we have a lovely heart. So we've got something to colour for Valentine's Day. There was a heart, of course, in the front as well. So there's 2 hearts. That's rather nice. Looks like we're in the middle. I can see all the stitching in the book. Now the American books are stitched now as well as glued to try and make sure the pages don't fall out. Now we have a sort of just stems with it's really simple and pretty. There's a lot of simple. Now I think there is becoming a bit of a trend in colouring for simpler pages, and I do find some of them very attractive and it looks low effort and relaxing. Some of them I'm not so keen on, but I think there's a bit of a mix here which is rather nice. You do have the simpler pages, but some of them have a bit more to them, but also you can add in, for example, this one, you could put a background in there, you could draw more flowers around the edge, and the same here. You could do a whole background, put some trees in the side or bushes or some mossy ground, a tree stump, sky. You know, I've got ideas, I just can't do it. But this one's got a little key, which is interesting. Look, I don't think we're seeking a key, are we? This one was one of the greetings cards, like the fox, and one of the circle ones that you can buy from the Dundee, V&A Dundee. I've got a few of those. I did a little review of them anyway. So here we have 3 stems, but they're growing out of a little bed of flowers. So that's rather cute. We've had a similar-ish one already, but not too similar. And here we have what look like thistles, and these look like little snowdrops or crocuses underneath. So again, with something like this, you can do a sky, a background, some greenery behind bokeh, whatever you want to do, or not. You know, just colour what's there. Now this one is adorable. I love honeysuckle. And so this design is really cute. What I find interesting is we've got a lot of detail in this bee. There's a lot of shading already done for us by Johanna here, which is a little bit different to what we're used to. But yeah, I love the honeysuckle. And this bee, again, a little bit more detail. Perhaps not, because she usually includes the black, but it's having that shading underneath that's a little bit different. So this one is a symmetrical design. We've got a line of symmetry down the middle. And this one looks to me a bit more like a garden, although these plants are overlapping the bottom and the side. But because we've got the butterflies, we've got the surrounding little viney leaves, and that it looks a bit more like a proper scene where I would feel I would have to do a background, because it looks like there needs to be one, like some sky or something. We've got some little mushrooms on this one too. Whereas these, we've got this arch, but it doesn't look like a scene to me, it just looks like some flowers. I would still do a background behind them inside this arched piece. But and this one's quite easy for background because the little sections are quite small, so it makes it a lot easier. So if you're wanting to practice backgrounds, this is probably a really good one. These look a bit like poinsettias, this one, but not all of them do. I was thinking maybe Christmas is coming. So here we have what looks like snowdrops, maybe thistles. Not sure what these are. I want to do those yellow. I've seen flowers that have got fluffy yellow tops. And we've got a little butterfly there. Again, this is a symmetrical one, as is this one. So we've got a line of symmetry down the middle. And this one's quite different. Although it's symmetrical, we've got much rounder blooms and a lot more leaves, I think, on this one. Now we have another page with just some singulars. So we have 12 flowers here, and plants, I suppose, really, to colour. Now this is our wallpaper page from the inside of the front cover, so you could practice with this one and then do that one, vice versa, or not cover. I don't always colour the insides of the covers. Sometimes I do, sometimes I don't, so I'll decide about that one. Now this, I'm not sure, I can't remember whether Johanna said this was a stork or a heron. I put together a colouring page index sheet with the names of each page in it, and I wrote it based on her flip through. So if she named the animal, I used her name, so it's on there, but I haven't printed a copy off for myself yet. So it's a very, very elegant bird. I mean, it could be an egret, but I'm sure it's not. I think this was a chipmunk. We've got some acorns, very cute. It left me wondering whether acorns grow in the place where they come from. I don't know. They don't come from the UK. Now we have a circle, We've got, looks like primroses, I would say forget-me-nots, different things all around. So you could do lots of different colour florals there. You could even put something in the middle if you want to. And this one, again, is the symmetrical design. It's just this little section here, which is repeated around. Sorry for all the shadows. It's really dark in here, so my light is very bright. These look like lily of the valley to me. I just love colouring these. I don't know what they are supposed to be, or if they're supposed to be anything, but I think they're lovely to colour. Now, what do we have here? Again, a sort of symmetrical design with quite a few leaves again, but lots of flowers. Now this one here, we've got blackberries or raspberries, maybe. I probably colour them as blackberries. It's interesting that within a sort of rectangular frame, so it doesn't really fit on this piece of paper. You know, it's an interesting idea, just a bit different. Now here we have a scene. This is a proper scene. I think it's the only one in the book, which for me is a little bit of a shame, because I do like to colour a scene, as I said before, but I can make some scenes out of some of them. It's not that I don't like the book, it's just, you know, it's just my personal thing. But we have a tree each side framing the whole thing, and then what looks like either a bush or a hill of some sort, and then some sort of magical sky behind. So that's a really pretty one. I love the toadstools. Haha. Now I'm thinking, is that a hummingbird? I can't remember. I think it is. Lovely crown. Florals under the crown as well. Lots of stars and magic. Lovely picture. And another circular design. Again, it's not symmetrical, but we do have the same florals repeating like these ones all through. So that's nice. You can just use the same colour for one and do them all, you know, that sort of thing. I think there's quite a few pages in here which would be really quite quick to finish. You know, I mean, I know we're waiting for our next Small Victories book, Inklings, to come. But I feel that in this book, although the pages are bigger, there's some quite simple designs which really wouldn't take very long to do. So again, we have more blackberries, although again, these could be raspberries if you want to do them differently to the other ones, you know. But I love colouring blackberries, so I will have fun with that page. Now we have a sort of bed of leaves with all sorts of florals growing out of them. And this page, again, one of these sort of pages with random bits and bobs on, but I think, yeah, we have some repetition. So this bit is this bit, this bit is this bit, this bit is this bit. So there's some repetition in the page, and the bees, there's a bee there and there, but this one's the same bee but turned the other way. So I think sometimes Johanna gets a bit and twists it and moves it, and you know, so we've got a nice lot of different things in that one. And here is our cute little panda, giant panda. So interesting to think about how to colour that with regards to black and white or not, you know. So I shall have a think about that one. Now this one is very pretty. Reminds me of one in Magical Jungle, I think. Has one a little bit like this. But I like the fact we've got this little line to colour, and here you can do that in a metallic pen, as well as all the bits and bobs. Like that. Now this one is, I've always felt that this looked beautiful when I saw it first, and I still think so now. I'm a little bit confused by one part of it though, but it looks to me like clover. So you can see 3-leaf clovers. I don't know if there's a 4-leaf clover hidden in there anywhere, and you've got all the lovely clover flowers. But what's that? That there, that isn't a clover. And it isn't repeated anywhere. What is that? Interesting. Now this is a really fantastical type design where we have a little village right down in the bottom of this little islandy shape. And then stars above, and then it's underground. And above the ground we have the plants growing. This is an interesting idea, isn't it? We have a bit of soil around there. I find that interesting. Now here we have a lovely circle design. We have a lovely lot of mushrooms going all the way around, which will be a joy. I'm sure most people enjoy colouring them. But we also have a little viney border. We have some different bits and pieces. I think that one looks lovely. Now, again, this symmetrical design, but this has got a sort of four-way so that each little corner repeats. And we have these sort of long flowers, a sort of selection of 4, 5 different types of flowers there. And look at this. Now, is this a peacock or a peahen? Peahens are the females. They don't have the long tails. Or is it a pheasant? I want to say a peacock because of that bit on the top there. But I've got a few ideas already. So we have a circle, which means you can put in a background if you want to. And we've got a plant with lots of buds and then a few flowers here. Butterflies. Now this is quite an interesting one because they're all quite spiky, I think. I don't know if you agree. We have this sort of spiky plants, which is really interesting. Oh, here's our plant hunters list. So we've got 1, 2, 3. That's a daffodil. I don't remember seeing a daffodil. We've got a thistle. We saw a few of those. 6. I don't remember seeing that one at all. So I think the idea is when you spot this plant, you colour it in. I think that's the idea. But, you know, I might treat it differently. Who knows? But I will go back. Now when I finish this flip through, I will go and try and find them all. Because, you know, I'm like that. A little tiny one on the end is really cute. And then we have, oh, this is one of the ones with the circles behind on the colour palette test page. And we have another one here on this one. I'm going to do a little bit of colouring for you on this very last page once we've just finished looking. So the back inside cover, we don't actually have any colouring. We just have an advert for Johanna's books. Interestingly, not all of them. Because the first 2 with a different publisher. So we've got Magical Worlds and Lost Ocean. They're all in a funny order. Okay, so there is the back, just so that you can see it. The design, I think, is the same as the front, but it just talks you through a bit about a bit about Johanna and a bit about the book. But let's get colouring just this little teeny weeny design here. I'll come in a lot closer. I'm sorry about the light. It's awful. It's raining. It's dark. It's late in the afternoon as well, late-ish in the afternoon, because this book arrived. I was just about to go out. I had an appointment I had to go to, and the book arrived just as I was about to go out, so I couldn't do anything with it until I got back, which was very frustrating. But as you can imagine, I didn't even open it. I just opened the envelope, got it out, and then put it on my chair, and then had to leave. Okay, we have 4 blooms here. I've got my Faber Castell Polychromos just because they're on my desk. And I'm going to do each of these 4 in a different colour because why not? I'm going to choose some pinks. I just grab my sharpener. Pinks and purples maybe. Don't know. So this is the middle purple pink. I'm just going to start this one. Oh, hang on out. Let's put a bit of paper behind the page. There we go. Just in case. The reason for doing that is sometimes the ink transfers across, but once you've started colouring in a book, the pencil can transfer across to the next page. So some people cover every page they've done in something to stop the transfer. I know some people use like a clear plastic sticky cellophane stuff. I can't think of the name. And some people use just put a piece of tissue paper. This is violet. I would probably prefer to do tissue paper if I was going to do it between every page, because it's not so permanent. So if I decided I wanted to change something on the page, I could change it without worry. But then if you pick the book up, chances are that it might all start falling out, and it would get very thick if with tissue paper. So there's pros and cons to each. What should we do here? Let's do mauve. I'm not doing anything too special. Now it's definitely the same paper as her last books, so there's not much to say about the paper really if you've got any of her. Well, I can. It feels really very smooth to the touch, and I know some people had complained that the paper was a bit too smooth for really soft smushy pencils, but with harder pencils I find it still very good compared to her older paper. You know, I mean, unfortunately I remember the days of the very first edition of Secret Garden, Pink Madder Lake, when the paper was almost yellow and it was really toothy. Ugh, it was nasty paper, but it got better, and yeah, I don't have a problem with this. You can see how the hard pencils are going down nicely. I'm not really doing anything special, as I said, just getting some colour down. Let's do those flower centres in the dark cadmium yellow. Like that. And then our green. Oh, I haven't opened the green section. No, not that one. Let's go for this one. This is the permanent green. It's a bit small, but permanent green it is. Now, I know it can be quite daunting to start colouring in a brand new book. I just did it. But a few tips I would say: don't start on a page like this, because this isn't a proper page. Yes, this is the colour palette test page. It doesn't matter what happens here, you know, you can do whatever you like. I'm using the ultramarine next. I would also say writing your name in the book can be quite a big step to making it feel more like yours, and therefore you giving yourself a license to colour in it and enjoy it. You can always follow some videos. That might help to increase your confidence a little bit. But yeah, it can be a bit daunting. I sometimes falter at the idea of starting a book, but once I started if I do a flip through video and I have to colour something in the video, like now, I just have to get on with it. There isn't time for me to falter. Well, I mean, I could stop the video and have a think, but excuse me, I've got a cup of green tea waiting for me when I finish. This is light ultramarine and a bit of a tickly throat, so it's hurrying me along a bit, but meaning that I'm not dithering so much. But it's not really about that, is it? It's about a confidence which I now have, that if it all goes horribly wrong, it's fine. It's just what it is. It's a learning experience. I can learn something, I can move on, I can make sure I don't repeat that mistake again, you know. So, oh, I need to wipe my nose quickly, and then I'm going to put a little bit of pen on this picture before I finish. In fact, it's very uneven in that background. Oh, excuse me. So I'm just going to colour it some more. Down here, it's not dark enough down here. When you're doing a background like this, you want to try to make the darker area even all the way around, and this one is quite thick, so I need to just match it up. That's a bit better. And try to get a nice graduated, evenish fade, which again isn't easy. There we go. Like that. Right, I am just going to grab a white pen. This is just a Sakura Jelly Roll white. You can use any white. You just want to put a few dots around the yellow. I don't know why. I just feel like I I want to do a little something extra to finish it off. There we go. I'm going to end there. So yeah, I'm going to be doing a lot of videos from this book, so if you're interested in watching my colour alongs, please do subscribe and click the bell and tick the notification to get notifications on all my videos, and then you'll see them. You'll get a notification when it comes out. Yeah, thank you for watching. I'm very, very excited still. I hope that you enjoy the rest of your day and that all your books come very soon. But thank you so much and happy colouring.